Welcome to Herding Little Cows, to the glory of God. We're gonna start this video again because I did it wrong. Okay, so this is our cooking from the pantry challenge. This would be able to be cooked on week 3. If you wait till week 4, you would then have butter for it. But we are making a recipe that I originally found on All Recipes called Easiest Focaccia Bread. And focaccia sounds like a fancy bread, and ooh, could I make that? But the only ingredients you need are sugar, yeast, flour, water, and salt. Then, after you make the bread, if you want, you can put butter. Like when you make the dough, I'll show you at the end, when you make the dough, you can put butter over the top and then just be able to eat it like that. But you also, this is a really good bread for dipping. So if you have like an Italian meal that you want to dip it in sauce, if you have like olive oil with some seasonings you want to dip it in, maybe even like a fancy Italian dressing you get from the store, or like a soup, anything like that, this can be made with. And this would be on the week 3 challenge. So anyway, it's very easy. I got the original recipe from All Recipes, but I've tweaked it a little bit for my own. So I will show you what I'm going to do, how I do it here at home. Oops, I'm borrowing, there's no baking powder in this, I'm just borrowing the spoon from it. I'm making another recipe later, so that's over there. Okay, so I'm gonna make a double recipe of this. So you're gonna do 2 teaspoons of sugar, 2 packets of yeast. This is for the double recipe, 2 packets of yeast. I'm actually only going to do, I use my measurement. And you might hear people coming in and out. We're a real home. I'm Sarah, I'm married to Mark, and we have 8 kids here at home, so you might hear them. So anyway, 2 packets worth of yeast. Those would just be the packets you bought at the store. We're going to do a total of 4 cups of flour. But first, you're gonna want to put about a little less than a cup's worth of water in your bowl. Hello, I'm back. We are not professional here. This recipe did not call for salt. You put salt on top, but I prefer to put my salt on the inside of the bread. So we are going to add, for the 2 recipes, we are gonna add a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. It's a 1/4 teaspoon per recipe. We're gonna just give that a quick mix. And then we're gonna add flour. We're gonna end up adding 4 cups of flour. But what I do is I add 2, and I give it a quick mix to mix in some of the water. Whoa, make a mess. That's my channel, you always have to make a mess. I didn't wear black today though, I'm doing pretty good. And then as I add more flour, we're gonna get a total of 4 cups because of our double recipe. As we add more flour, I'm also gonna add some water each time. And what you're trying to do is we're gonna get to a certain consistency of the dough. Again, this has been from years of experience. I've made a bunch of different recipes, and so I kind of know what consistency I want in things, but it doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm gonna add another cup and a little bit more water. I'm just using warm water from the tap, like baby bottle warm, that's all you want. And so what you're gonna do is after you get it to the consistency you want, I still need more water, and I think I might even have to go over to the sink and get a little more. But once you get it to the consistency you want, you're just gonna give it a quick knead, but it's really a very small knead. You want it to be pretty wet. So, okay, so here's kind of the consistency you're looking for. It's gonna be a little sticky. You're just gonna give it a quick knead. So I ended up adding about a total of 2 cups of water for my 2 batches. So about a cup per batch. So you're just gonna give it a quick knead like this. It's gonna be sticky, that's okay. You wanna make sure it's all incorporated together. And then, once you do that, just a few times of kneading it, get the rest of the dough off your fingers. And then you're going to leave it. That's how easy it was. Now you're gonna set it aside for about 30 minutes, and I will see you guys back here when that's done. Hey guys, so I'm back for the focaccia bread. So first thing you need to do is get a pan, and this works totally fine on just a regular cookie sheet. I'm using my pizza stones that were a gift from my friend Lola. She gifted me these 2 pizza stones a couple years ago, and they're just amazing, and I love to use them. But I have made it on cookie sheets when we've made extra. If you save butter wrappers, this is just a tip. If you save butter wrappers, you can put them in the freezer to save them. I never think to do that, but I just made a recipe where I used the butter. You can use the butter wrapper to grease your pan. So whatever grease you have in the house, if you are doing this partway through the challenge, you might already have butter in the house, but if not, just any kind of olive oil, coconut oil, vegetable oil, shortening, whatever you happen to have in the house, and you're just going to grease the pan a little bit. And so I'm just rubbing my butter wrapper on there. Okay, now I'm going to get my hands just a little bit oily so that the focaccia bread doesn't stick, because if you remember, our focaccia bread was kind of wet. And here's my focaccia bread. I'm going to take it out of the bowl. Again, gonna be kind of wet, and this was 2 recipes, so I'm gonna break it in half. Put part on each tray. We'll get the rest of this goodness out of the bowl. The kids are very excited about this. And so all you're gonna do, again, it's a little sticky, which is okay. You can get a little more oil on your hands or whatever, but you're gonna wash your hands in the end, is you're just gonna push the focaccia dough out to the sides and get it kind of flat. You're trying to make kind of a circle or rectangle, something that resembles the size of your pan. I'm gonna do it for both of them. I need a little more oil on my hands. A little more oil on my hands. And then you're just gonna push it out, like I said. And when you're done pushing it out, this recipe, you do not need to let it rise. So while I am talking to you, like right before I turned the camera on, I turned my oven on. This cooks at 475 degrees, which is very hot. And you only cook it for 8 to 10 minutes if you want it like not crunchy. So focaccia bread has this look that you get by pressing down the dough like that. I'm gonna do that on both sides. There we go. And what you can do at this point is, whoops, I made an actual hole. I didn't mean to. Okay, so what you can do at this point is you can drizzle it with oil or butter or whatever kind of oil you want to use, and then you can put seasonings on top. You can put salt, you could put everything but the bagel seasoning, you could put garlic powder, onion powder, those types of things. That's what I'm going to put on mine, is garlic powder and onion powder. My hands are a little messy, but that's fine. So I'm just going to take this. We're actually not going to put oil on top, but you can. I'm just not going to. And so you're going to do that. That was onion powder. I'm going to take, I'm going to take some garlic powder, sprinkle that on top, and I'm going to throw these in the oven. Like I said, these are a very good recipe to use if you have something that you want to like dip. You can make it without the oil if you're going to like dip it in a soup or Italian sauce or something like that. But I will come back when these come out of the oven to show you what they look like. Okay guys, so the bread is done. So we're gonna take it out. Ugh, this is the focaccia bread. And like I said, we did not put oil on it. This just has a little onion powder and garlic powder like you saw me do. And you don't want it to be too crusty. You'd rather it be a little bit extra dough. It's not doughy, but I don't know how to explain it. And you can use a pizza cutter for this process, but I want this to be real life for people who may not have these things in your home. Like I said, you can cook these on a regular cookie sheet or jelly roll pan, I think is what it's called when they have the little sides on them. You could cook it in that, and you can cut it with a pizza cutter. You can cut it with a knife. You can cut it with whatever you have. Actually, this thing that I talked about the other day that I used in a different recipe that I got at Dollar Tree, you can cut it with this. So whatever you have. And you can cut it in whatever shape you want. But how I tend to do it is in triangles. I was like, what shape is this? This is why I have my students around, because they can help me. I'm sorry, that's kind of loud. Okay, now we're going to get a spatula, because this is hot, but the kids want to eat it right now. So you can let it cool on the pan a little bit longer.
But students, but
that is what the inside looks like. It's hot. So that's what we got. Do you think it's gonna taste good? We've had focaccia before, so I know that they're gonna like it. So that's what it is. You can cook it for anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes, depending on how squishy you want it in the middle, how dry you want it. If you're eating it like with soup or something, you may want to cook it longer so it would be drier and stiffer for your soup. But this is the way the kids are gonna like it. So we will see you guys next time on Herding Little Cows to the Glory of God.